Constantin, good morning.
Good morning.
So we've been waiting for that connection for a long time. Definitely, I know what you do, and you probably know what I do as well. And we wanted to sit and talk and discuss the Lebanon of tomorrow, if we can call it this way. So what makes Lebanon, what in your opinion would rebuild Lebanon, the role of small companies, SMEs, and lots of very important and interesting things for the next minutes or hours. So let's start by a quick introduction or a long introduction about you, what you do, and how did your journey start?
Anthony, look, it's a pleasure being with you and sharing these moments together. It has been a long journey. I really learned the ropes working for a company called Hewlett-Packard back in the 80s and 90s. So I spent 20 years with them. And there I had the responsibility of heading what they call HP Financial Services, which was the investment bank of Hewlett-Packard, where they invested in a number of ventures. And this is back in this is more than 45 years ago. Had a chance to understand what it takes to select the right companies with the right innovation hedge, and being able to then sit down with them, add value, and hopefully at one point in time either exit or benefit from the technology that they have. So it was like we say in French, un coup de foudre. So the ability to be able to get to know this environment, get to know the ecosystem, and get to know the best way to go about making the right choices with the right companies and being able to add value. And then I took this and applied it to investment groups, being it in the GCC area or the MENA region as a whole. And I had the pleasure of working with as the CEO of Group CEO for Al-Ghurair Investments and for Al-Mas'ud. And over the past 10 years, decided to take all this learning and apply it to what we call innovative SMEs with an impact, RE with a soul. And discovered this in West and East Africa, working for my alma mater, Stanford Business School, and then took all this learning from Stanford, from Al-Ghurair and Al-Mas'ud, from of course the 20 years at HP, and apply it across Lebanon and the MENA region. And what we have been doing for the past years is really selecting companies that have this innovation edge and at the same time have the ability to scale, and most importantly is creating an impact. So this combination is a powerful one. To have impact, to have scalability, and to have innovation together under proper governance is, I think, the name of the game. Not only the name of the game for what we, Lama, myself, and a few others have decided to spend our life, but most importantly, the name of the game for what Lebanon could be as a nation in the years to come.
Usually in interviews, you will start with introductory questions and build up to the biggest one. Allow me to go from the biggest one and down to the introductory ones. If you were handed Lebanon to manage, how would you do it?
I think Nawaf Salam has a wonderful role, at the same time a very challenging role, and he's going the right way. I mean, the way you challenge is first you understand what are those low-hanging fruits that you need to address, and pick up those low-hanging fruits and being able to implement them and to execute on it. So what it takes first a vision. You need to understand where you are and where you want to get. So what is this vision? And I think he has clearly articulated it. At the same time, you need to make sure that you have the ability to implement this vision. And this means, one is the team, to be surrounded with people like-minded, right, similar value set, and but also to have the means, the financial means, because we will need financial means to rebuild this country. So a vision, the right team, the right financial mean, and most importantly, the courage. The courage to be able to take tough decisions when you know that there are going to be a lot of people who might not necessarily think like you, but you do it because you believe that this is the right thing for the country, this is the right thing for the Lebanese people, and this is the right thing for the economy. So this combination of these four dimensions probably is how, if I have to redo it, is to be able to put it together.
So in simple language, when someone talks about consultancy, support, taking companies to the next level, etc., it starts sometimes by being a little bit complicated for someone that is starting entrepreneurship at the beginner stage. So let's put it in simple words. What is your role and the team around you with companies, and how you take them from zero to hero?
Look, I think the first thing is that you need to make sure that you select the companies well. So and this we have seen it because we were blessed to be able to work with several hundred of those companies, being it startups, being it scale-ups, being it large corporate. Is you need to make sure that you select them well. And to select them well is you need to have, I've mentioned a few of the criteria, but choose the company that really have an edge, that have something, a story that is quite unique. So what is the uniqueness about their story? The second thing is that you need to look at a company where the founders and the team share similar values as yours, because we're going to go through ups and downs a number of times over the years that we'll be together. So you need to make sure that you think alike and you'll be able to face whatever challenges you're going to encounter and be able to overcome them in a strong alignment. The third thing is you need to look at companies that has an impact, that are generating either through poverty reduction, protection of the environment, rural empowerment, also, so they have a way to really leave an impact in terms of the services and the goods they provide. So once you've selected those companies on it, what you do then is you sit down with them and you have, like we have, an open discussion. You know, what have you done so far? What is working? What is not working? What are you aiming? So why are you here and where do you want to go? So have this discussion with them. We call it a transformation journey, which is a number of discussions, like the discussion you and me are having. And throughout those discussions, being able to articulate what does it take for this company to move from point A to point B, in terms of either competencies, in terms of systems, in terms of go-to-market strategy, in terms of market positioning. So we work together in shaping what we call this transformation journey. And then it's a question of ensuring that we have the company and you have the ability to be able to implement this transformation journey. So concretely, what does it mean? Take an example, I don't know, take the example of Smartland. Smartland is one small company present in the Bekaa. This company is providing smart irrigation. So they have sensors, a whole solution of sensors to allow farmers to plant better, to water better, to know what sort of fertilizers to use so that they can at the same time save water, improve the yield in terms of agricultural output, and at the same time being able to do it in an eco-friendly way. So we sit down with this company from day one and trying to understand what they do, and then look at how we can work together and support them in terms of developing. So part of it was to look at the team, part of it is look at their expansion strategy, part of it is to look at the technology that they're using and how unique it is, and then see how we could help them grow from 1 to 3 farmers to 10 farmers to 50 farmers to 100 farmers, and leaving the impact every single time that they meet. So this is one example. But then we realized to move to the step ahead is to set up partnership. Partnership with established organization. In this case, I'm managed to also be sitting on the board of the Bani Sayyali Group, and they're a very large player in agriculture, not only in Lebanon, but they're also present in Syria, in Iran, in Iraq, in Algeria, and across the GCC market, to look at the potential partnership between these two, where at one point, Smartland has this innovative technology, and at the same time, the Bani has this reach, being in the top 3 agricultural provider to farmers across the region, and to see how both could work together, learn from each other, and being able to collaborate. So this was also part of this transformation strategy to help a company being able to access much larger markets, building on an innovative technology, and building on a desire to leave an impact in what they do. So this is, in some ways, I know I could spend hours on it, but these are the different steps that we take with those companies to help them shape this transformation journey, but also to help them execute this transformation journey. And this execution is not only the team, it's also the board, it's the tools, it's also the funding. So being able to help them raise the necessary funds in order for them to be able to implement whatever expansion strategy or scalability strategies that they have in mind on it. So our role is really hold their hands, show them the mirror, so we show them the mirror so that they are open, making sure that they are honest about what they see, and making sure that they have the courage themselves to take the right decisions to allow them to grow and to scale their impact too.
I'm having dozens of questions, and the problem is that I'm not taking notes. So I'm going to try to remember as many as I can, starting by one important one. So I'm a truly believer that consultants do have an added value. While Steve Jobs was no to consultancy, I'm not sure I want someone that comes out of my company and just throws ideas without having skin in the game. What would you say to that? What's your opinion about it?
There is a joke, it's about consultancy, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but I'll say it anyway. So the definition, what is a consultant? A consultant is a person who knows of 100 ways to make love to a woman, but has never picked up one. So it's so I tend to go alongside with Steve Jobs and saying that that you're right, and this is why we don't see ourselves as consultant, and I'll tell you why. The first is I have nothing against consultant. I think it's a beautiful job, and it's much needed with a number of organizations and governments. The way we differentiate is we're here for the long term. Because once you sit down with these companies, and once you decide that you want to implement this journey, and once you decide that you want to fund this journey, automatically we're not talking 3 months or 6 months or a year. We're talking 5 years, potentially 10 years, potentially 15 years. So our approach is not only we're advising and listening to you, but we are also helping you execute by sitting on your board. So the approach is we're here to advise, we're here to have this discussion like you and I are having, but we're also here to be able to help you execute on it by sitting on your board and following and making sure that whatever we have agreed is being implemented in a proper way. So this execution element is important. Consulting will consult, but consulting will not necessarily sit with you and make sure that the execution is taking place. And the last thing that we do is that we fund. So not only we're advising, we're making sure that this execution is taking place, but if we see that the chemistry is here and the alignment in values is here, we fund. So then automatically, once you do the funding, you're not only speaking, you're not only recommending, you're not only helping in terms of execution, but you're also becoming a complete partner with the organization that we're working with. And this, we have advised probably, 200 plus type of companies. We have also decided to fund 25 of those companies. And once you make this decision, this is a long-term decision. And once you make it, it's not anymore about advisory. You become part of the family. You become part of the, if you want, of the DNA of the organization. So I agree with Steve Jobs. And this is why we find ourselves as a differentiator with our ability to be able to sit on those boards, advise those founders, and at the same time being able to fund them and help them establish the right partnerships that they have.
That was the next question. Usually you support, you help, you have a long time understanding what does this company do, and then probably 1/10, you decide to be part of it, partner with them, put your money into it, and be part of the game. So do you follow only the feeling? Is it I would like to do more of what I like to do? Or when is yes in or no, and how does it change your attitude?
I think it's a decision, you know, it goes back to the criteria that I've mentioned. And probably the most important one is we have alignment in terms of values. This is very, very important, is that you feel that you could work together, that you go through challenges together. So this alignment in values, this alignment in terms of way of thinking, not only the values, but what is this journey going to be? Do we see it similarly? Do we understand what the challenges are? So this alignment is very important. The second one, for us, we go back to governance, because one of the key problems, you mentioned Lebanon, is I would say the single denominator in terms of all these 50 years of chaos have been the lack of governance that we have. So we really focus on entrepreneurs and leaders that understand the importance of having proper governance. And governance is not only the board. Governance is about transparency. Governance is about trust. Governance is about accountability. So these are all those elements which are essential. So we want to make sure that we have people aligned in terms of values, but also have the same governance mindset.
Can I open a parenthesis and focus on the word governance and probably have a quick explanatory of what is governance, because I believe lots of people do not know what it is?
Governance is a set, if you want, of rules, guidelines that allow an organization to protect as much as possible the stakeholders. And these stakeholders could be the shareholders, could be the customers, could be the suppliers that you have. So what you do is you agree on a set of rules that becomes your foundation. How do you go about taking a decision? How do you go about deciding whether you fund this project or you don't fund this project? How do you go about deciding whether this person is going to be a senior executive or not in this, or part of the team on it? So it's a set of rules and regulations that help you protect the interest of all key stakeholders that you have in an organization. So it includes having a proper board, diversified board that is adding value. It includes making sure that we have a clear strategy, where we are, where we want to go. It includes the quality of the teamwork that we have and how we go about addressing the potential problem or challenges that it includes having the right systems, having the right to simplify and automate as much as possible what you do. So it's a series of those elements that work together, complement each other, and help you. If you are a potential investor, you say, okay, this company has sound governance. It means that they are de-risking. So understanding what are the risk areas that you have in this organization, and what are the means that you have put in place in order to reduce the risk. You could never eliminate the risk, but to reduce the risk level. So this set of rules, this set of frameworks to de-risk the organization and to protect the interests of the stakeholder is one of the definitions of what governance could be. And it applies not only for an organization, it applies for a country, it also applies for you as an individual. So it really starts by yourself, making sure that you're honest, transparent about what you say it, how it's interpreted, but at the same time you're consistent in what you do, and it's aligned with really where you want to go as an individual. We're here for a certain number of years, and we all have a certain what I call dream or life project that we want to implement. So make sure that whatever you do, how you do it, with whom you do it, is aligned with this ultimate life project that you have in mind. Same thing applies for an organization, same thing applies for a country. So this is the bracket about governance. But to go back to your question, so the alignment in terms of values, this governance discipline that we have, but then, and I underline it and we will hear it a number of times, what is your impact? What do you want to leave as an impact? How are you changing the lives of others? Or how are you protecting the environment? How are you, reducing pollution, contributing to the waste management solution that we have? So what is really this impact that you're generating, and how can this impact scale? This for us is important too. So once you have answer to those questions, and you have a model that is scalable, because you really want a model that is scalable and financially sustainable, then we say we have a number of elements for us to feel this is an organization that not only we want to work with on the long term, and we also would like to fund. Because this becomes a decision. It's like a marriage. You know, you're entering into this relationship that is going to last for, I said 10, some of these organizations have been a shareholder for more than 15 years, you know, so it becomes a long-term, and it becomes like a family. You then have them in some ways as your extended family that you have. So these are the questions that we ask ourselves before deciding whether we fund or we don't fund behind. And there are others, but these are the most important ones that we do, and to make sure that it's the right decision from a sustainability point of view, because the quality of those investments will help you, because this money is coming back. And when the money is coming back, it allows you to fund even more companies. So it becomes sustainable financially as a model, but at the same time, it's generating the impact by working with these different organizations across different countries and across different sectors. And these could be small companies, SMEs, or it could be large established companies because of the synergy that could could happen among them.